What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good today, tonight, whenever you're watching this. So, I might have mentioned this a little bit in my previous video about how, there was this Tenacious D concert that went on somewhere, and at first I thought it was Jack Black that made this joke, but it ended up actually being Kyle Gass, which I apologize for throwing Jack Black on that blame. However, he was still there and he laughed with it. And honestly, I'm going to respond to that. And, supposedly they've had a bunch of their concerts canceled. And I guess now, they're under some deep shit. And, a lot of people are sitting there saying, well, it was just a joke, It's not like he meant it, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? I'm going to get to that. First off, before I get into the subject, I will say this right now. I am still thinking of the retired fire chief that ended up losing his life at the Trump rally that Trump got shot at, And I'm also glad that Trump's okay, He seems to be doing pretty good for himself at this point. And for the guy that tried to assassinate Trump and he got shot and killed, I have no sympathy for him whatsoever. I do feel bad for his family, his friends, and everybody that cared for him. And same thing to the retired fire chief that lost his life. But, I have more sympathy for him than I do for, and his family and friends than I do for the guy that tried to assassinate Trump and his family and friends. So, yeah, I will say that right now. Things like this are something I would not wish anything upon, regardless if it's Joe Biden or somebody that I don't like. You know what? That shit is wrong, and I do not condone that. I will say that right now. With that being said, so I'm going to get into that Tenacious D issue that's been going on the past few days and respond to what people are saying and kind of give my response to it. Now, look, people make jokes, all right? I totally understand that. People will sometimes sit there and make a joke without thinking twice or, say whatever without having a second thought. And you know what? Whatever. I mean, I've done it before a few times, but, apparently at this Tenacious D concert, Kyle made some sort of dumb response where he was like, don't miss Trump next time, blah, blah, blah. And, a lot of people did laugh at the joke, and Jack Black even laughed at the joke too, which I thought was absolutely stupid. And apparently because of them making that type of joke, they ended up having to cancel a crap ton of concerts, and because I guess the venues that they were supposed to have concerts at ended up getting multiple phone calls about it. And I know that for a fact because there was a concert they were supposed to have, I think, somewhere here in Michigan. I don't remember if they said in Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids. I'll have to look into that again, I had a friend that wanted to go to that concert, and he said he wanted to get tickets, and, now he's mad because their concerts are getting canceled, and he's pretty mad about that. But then again, that's what happens when you go and make a bad response at the worst time possible. But, with the situation with Tenacious D, a lot of their concerts have been getting canceled now because of what Kyle said a few days ago. And honestly, I don't really feel bad for them for having a bunch of their concerts canceled. First off, to make a joke like that about somebody that could have lost their life, it's pretty fucked up. And the thing they don't put into perspective is the fact that there was an innocent bystander that was killed at that rally. Like I said, retired fire chief. He ended up losing his life, and he's got family and friends that are mourning the loss of his life right now because of that. You know, then you got frickin' Kyle Gass and Jack Black making retarded jokes about how, you know, you shouldn't miss Trump next time, or this and that. And to anybody that's going to sit there and be like, well, you know, he had freedom of speech, he had this and that, blah, 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 blah. Same people that are saying that are the same exact people that will sit there and be like, oh, well, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences. And that's what happened. They faced consequences for what they said. So, for that, I will say freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Tough luck. I mean, at this point, you know, those two aren't really taking full accountability for what they've said. I mean, Kyle Gass has said a little bit, you know, how he feels a little bad for what he said, and, you know, he wouldn't condone this type of shit. Yet, when he was at that concert, he had no problem saying, don't miss Trump next time. You know, imagine if something similar happened to Joe Biden, whether he survived or not, which, again, I'm not saying I would condone this shit, because honestly, like I said, this is disgusting, and I would not condone it one bit. But let's say the same thing happened to Joe Biden, and some conservative celebrity said the same thing, like, don't miss Biden next time. Like, let's say either Kid Rock does it, or Jason Aldean, Ted Nugent. You know, could you imagine the outrage that'd be spread in not just the United States, but across the world right now, if any conservative celebrity made a joke, freaking, you know, saying things like that about Biden? Sorry about that noise you guys just heard. It's my truck. Sometimes when I, you know, after I open a door and close it, you know, some sort of actuator in my truck that needs to be fixed or whatever. So if you hear that again, that's what it is. I apologize. But yeah, if any of those people made a joke like that towards Joe Biden, if the same thing were to happen to them, oh my gosh, those people would not have careers right now anymore if that happened. That's for sure. You know, as for Jack Black, yeah, he's not the one guilty of saying what was said at that concert. But the thing is, he's really not even taking much accountability, for laughing at what Kyle said. Nor is he sticking up for him and saying, you know, look, he said something that was a bit offensive. You know, it came out meaner than it was actually intended to be. You know, we weren't actually trying to incite violence, blah, 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 blah. You know, in a video that I watched that came from The Quartering, which if you don't know that channel, you know, go check him out. You know, really good channel. Jack Black really isn't taking a crap ton of accountability for this situation. He isn't holding Kyle Gass accountable or sticking up for him or any of this crap. And, you know, the only reason he put out a little bit of an apology is because his concerts got canceled. You know, he's worried that he's going to lose money if something happens between him and the Kung Fu Panda movies that might come out again in the near future. That's the thing. Jack Black isn't taking some accountability or apologizing for the matter because he cares about what happened with Trump or what happened to some of the other people in Pennsylvania that day. He's only apologizing a little bit because he cares about his career. He cares more about his career than he does for anything else. And if I'm not mistaken, you know, he basically had to choose between a friend that he had for 30 years and his career. And he basically went with his career, threw Kyle under the bus. Like I said, Kyle's the one that said it and made that joke. But regardless, Jack Black laughed at the joke. Jack Black might sit there and say, look, I wasn't trying to mean it like this or that, or incite violence, or, sit there and be disrespectful to anybody that thinks differently as far as politics goes. No, he doesn't care about any of that shit. He only cares about one thing and one thing only: his career. I mean, look at what's happening with Kyle Gass right now. He's facing a lot of criticism, and yes, I do feel like he should face consequences for what he said. Because, like I said, you know what? Freedom of speech, as liberals like to say, doesn't mean freedom from consequences. And you know what? That's the way I look at with this Kyle Gass, Tenacious D situation about that joke. Supposedly, Kyle got fired from a few different things, and now he's lost this and that. Whether or not that's actually true, I don't know. That's just information I've heard about. So, don't count me if I'm wrong or whatever. I mean, I guess feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm wrong, then like I said, that's information that I've gotten. It's not information that I've came up with. And to anybody that's going to sit there and say that Jack Black shouldn't be facing as many consequences, I beg to differ. Because like I said, yeah, he might not have been the one that made that joke, but he sat there, laughed at it, and whether or not he meant to laugh at it right then and there, I mean, he could have, at that point, he could have been like, okay, all right, whoa, we're not going to go down that route. Okay, that was a bit unnecessary. No, Jack Black didn't do that. Like I said, I get it. Sometimes you don't think twice about what you say, or you don't think twice about how you react when somebody says something, or when you say something, and sometimes you just react first before thinking. You know what? That happens with a lot of people out there, okay? I'm not claiming to be perfect. I've done the same thing a few times. But never in my life would I sit there and make a joke about somebody getting shot at. Unless if that person is a bad guy that absolutely deserved it. Even then, I don't go and make jokes like that. Even if it was Biden that were to get shot at like that, and the same thing happened to him, I wouldn't condone this shit. You even got people out there on the left that are saying that they do not condone this type of crap. And to anybody out there on that side that doesn't condone what happened towards Trump this past weekend, my issue is not with you. Because, you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of people on the left that have said that they don't condone this stuff. And there's even certain celebrities out there that hate Trump that don't condone this type of behavior. Some people out there are just fucked in the head when it comes to politics. I will say that to say the very least. So with all that being said, I really don't feel bad for Tenacious D for losing the rest of their concerts that they had planned and having a bunch of their concerts canceled. Nor do I feel bad for Kyle Gass or Jack Black for the consequences that they could face from making that retarded joke. For Kyle Gass, yeah, you might have apologized a little bit because, maybe it occurred to you that what you said wasn't a good thing. and maybe you do have some sympathy for what you said, and if you do, then okay, cool. But regardless, the damage has been done. Whatever consequence you face from this point on from saying that, that's your fault, dude. Not anybody else's. As for Jack Black, maybe your career won't be affected as much because a lot of people love you, love your music, love your movies, and all that shit. But if you end up facing some sort of downfall for being there laughing with Kyle Gass at that point, that's your fault, dude. Not anybody else's. Yeah, like I said, you're not the one that made that joke, but still, you sat there and laughed at it. At the end of the day, I don't like to sit there and wish for a downfall on anybody, regardless if they think like me or not, regardless of politics or anything like that. Because I will say this right now, I was a massive Jack Black fame. I can't freaking speak today. I'm sorry. Fan. That's what I was trying to say. Good grief. But yeah, I was a massive Jack Black fan. And as for Tenacious D, I loved their music. I thought they put out a lot of good songs. A lot of their music makes me laugh and has gotten me through hard times in the past. I will say that right now. But like I said, whatever happens to them is going to happen to them. Whether or not they still continue to talk to each other, I mean, that's their problem, not mine. Whether or not they continue to keep their music going, that's their problem, not mine. Whether or not Jack Black continues to make movies or take roles in certain movies, that's his problem, not mine. I can go on and on and on about this nonstop, but I will end it there. I'm sure I'm going to piss some people off for making this video, and you know what? I don't care. If you don't like my opinion about this situation, that's your problem, not mine, like I just said. You want to sit there or call me names, send me hate comments, or do whatever, go right ahead. I'm not going to sit there and worry about what somebody says in the comments if they don't have anything nice to say. My opinions are not going to change regardless. If you do agree with what I said, feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe if you want to. And do whatever. I haven't really been uploading to this channel much this year because, I've been busy with quite a few things. So, I'll try and keep up with uploading hopefully the next few months. If not, then it is what it is. But, yeah. Hope everybody's doing well, and that's all I have to say. You guys all take care now. I'm sorry, one more thing before I put this video to an end. To anybody out there that's praising that guy that tried to kill Trump for what he did, y'all can go suck a dick. I will say that right now.